describe as a truly shocking turn of events. Our next guest is actually backstage, ready to come out. That was really gross. What? Why'd you come out and give me the stink eye?
You were teasing her about actually being here.
Well, because teasing. Oh, stating a fact, you're never backstage when it's something about that. You know darn right that's when you poop. Right now, Rich, Dick, and I aren't really getting along that well. Well, you can tell. Yeah. And that's because he's been directing our recent episode, and so we've gotten to spend a lot of time with each other and discovered certain personality incompatibilities. Yeah. Like his attitude. Or Misha's inability to act. Apparently that one was a little close to the bone. Everyone was like, oh, I can't believe Rich calling out like that. That's like calling a short person short.
No, what do I have to do with this?
No, it's been awesome working with Misha, and that's not a bullshit lie. But I will say, what kind of lie is it? I got real soft lie. I got real excited to travel with Misha because last time we traveled together to a convention. It was in a car with Ruth. Ruth drank everything she saw. Misha drank everything that Ruth didn't drink. I lost my passport. You lost your passport. We lost Ruth for a hot second. We found Ruth. Got her across the border. It was a great time. And I'm thinking we're gonna relive those days last night because Misha and I came in on a red eye. Like we're gonna have the time. It was actually, I have to say, I was like, oh my God, it's taken like, I literally did not fall asleep until we left the ground. Yeah, and then I slept the whole time. You being sure, slept the whole time. And I had all these plans about like, it's a party in the air. You kept on Misha and Rich. Party bus in the sky. Party bus in the sky. Watch that party bus in the sky. In fairness, the flight did start with you doing some sort of really creepy lap dance thing. And I was seductively showing Misha my bottom. I said, I'm 50, but I still got it. Yeah. But I have to say, from my vantage point, he does not still have it. Well, in my defense, I never had it, so I can't have lost it. So, but anyway, I see how we're getting along. I got along with his grilled piece with my tushy last night, thinking it would get the party started, and it put him right to sleep. It was just like I was tempted for a moment to slap him real hard, and I was like, no, I don't even want to do that. It was good times. Yeah, it was really, really. Misha Collins, everybody. I met a little man about this tall, dressed as Castiel, and one of the staffers said, "Who are you dressed as?" And he said, "Daddy." And that made me suddenly like, oh, I'm a little bit uncomfortable because I don't know what the paternity laws are. Well, no, I mean, I should be saying sorry too. Like, it's a two-way street. Oops. It seems nice. That's another, there's another one? It doesn't make me a sharp shooter, it's just buckshot, it's going everywhere.
I go to prom with you? Why did everybody go, oh? Everybody knows like it's one of the terrifying moments in a person's life to ask someone to prom and then be rejected and you're afraid I'm going to reject her or him, I can't see you. Why don't you text me and we'll talk about it, okay?
You look so focused.
Awkward silence.
Awkward silence.
You can do it. Should we sing?
I feel very nervous up here. So speaking of prom, we had a fundraiser this week. It was a Thanksgiving challenge that happens every year, or for the last several years anyway, in Vancouver, where we try to raise each television show, each production tries to raise money for a local charity that feeds needy families.
Yeah.
And which who cares about that? But we won last year. And so we wanted to win again this year, much more than we wanted to help the needy families. And we did realize about ourselves that we're more competitive than we are charitable. Like the driving force for everyone. Like, I don't think most of us even knew what the charity was that we were supporting. We were just going to beat those other fucking shows. It also told us a little bit of something about our corporate culture on Supernatural, which was any excuse to fuck around, we're going to take it. So every day there was another fundraising event to raise money where the crew would put money into a raffle and then they would get to, pie producers in the face or throw water at each other or things like that. I guess and it was interesting to watch. Like some of the people, when they were pieing a producer in the face, you could tell there was years of resentment behind what they were doing, and a deep, deep catharsis, which I experienced when our production designer dressed up as Donald Trump. And he had a dunk tank. It was not. I was imagining that it was a hand grenade, and But on the last day, the wardrobe team, which was sort of spearheading the fundraising effort, approached Jared and Jensen and said, would you guys mind dressing up for this afternoon's fundraising pie throwing in the face challenge? Very high concept. And they said, yes, how about Lederhosen? And they were, oh, great idea. And Misha, you want some Lederhosen too? And I was like, no, I want a prom dress. And then they brought the prom dress. That's actually a quinceañera dress, technically. And they put it in my trailer. And what none of us could have anticipated was that it has this sort of sparkly, effervescent quality, which is actually just like it was rolled in glitter. And so my trailer, every nook and cranny, glitter from now until the end of the show. So that there will be a constant reminder for me of the dress and wearing it. By the way, it was very challenging to get when they started. At the end, they came after us with pies, which hadn't been in the contract, and I got out of that dress so fucking fast. I've been down this road. I'm not going to do this again. Yeah.
Did you win?
Of course we won. But we also cheated. We did it until the last minute, and then me, Jared, and Jensen, and Random Acts all put in as much money as we needed to make sure we won. It's actually just cheating, basically.
We do the same thing for the People's Choice, right?
What happens when we don't follow the normal format. How quickly does everything fall apart? Shall we test? I am testing it. I'm just staring at you awkwardly. How long before people start leaving is the real question. Hi, yes, you're waving at me in the back. What are you waving about?
This is close, I didn't see you, so hi!
Why are they keeping you at bay? Have you been marked as a potential threat? What's that?
They barely let me in the country.
Oh, really? What country are you from?
It's Canada.
Let everybody in.
Yeah, Canada's not picky about who they let in.
Get back home.
You didn't answer my question. Where are you from? Oh, I'm so sorry. I just see now angry gesticulating. I can't hear you anymore. Anyway, sorry about the restraining order. Yeah, we have an interesting moment. I have an interesting, we Americans, your friends to the south, not really friends, we're just people who live below you. We have an interesting political moment right now. It's very exciting. It's like it makes me question a lot of things about our system. I mean, obviously, democracy doesn't work. We learned that. We have what I would say is probably the least qualified person in the world running the country. And yet still everyone acts like, yes, you know, this is the system, we gotta follow it. It's like, well, this is, if ever there was a time to have a revolution, this would be it.
Misha for president!
I don't know if you guys know how our system works, but you have to be a U.S. citizen to have any say in the... Oh, actually, no, you don't. You can be from Russia. It is kind of comforting. Like in the States, when I get up on stage, I try to be a little tiny bit delicate about my Trump bashing. I mean, I bash him like with a 5-pound sledgehammer instead of a 10-pound sledgehammer. I still bash him, but a little bit delicately. Here, I feel like I don't have to do that. Except I know you are all Trump voters, so sorry about that. These four right here are Trump voters. If you want to find them in the parking lot after.
What's going to happen?
4 women beaten in parking lot trying to get into Uber. Outside of Supernatural Convention. Most violent event in Canada in the last 6 years. Hi, you have a question for me? What is it?
I'm in my junior year of high school, and
Congratulations.
I'm learning a lot about life and like things in it, social connection and everything else. And I can only imagine you as a celebrity.
Wait, you're learning about life or reading about life?
Both, I guess.
Okay, what did you say?
What? What?
Learning, she said learning, thank you. In social? Oh, the social aspects of life.
I guess.
I feel like we have a lot to learn about social interaction. But okay, go. Carry on.
I'm gonna enunciate. I can only imagine
good.
You as a celebrity, like how you see social things in life and human connection. What have you learned about like human interaction and life and stuff from being a celebrity?
What have I learned about What have I learned about life?
Well, I like.
Let me tell you. Let me sum this up for you. It sucks. No, I'm just kidding. There are occasional good moments. I just like to deliver uplifting messages to the youth. Well, it is a very interesting phenomenon to be, I guess, semi-famous because you...
Semi-famous?
Because there's a very common interaction that I have, which is I'll meet somebody who knows me, but I don't know them. And that's an interesting dynamic to be a part of because people often feel like we have a real connection because that's how connections form. You see a face over and over again, you know that face, you read things that they say or watch videos and it feels real. I'm not real. I'm a robot. A lot of heckling. You guys are in timeout. Oh, which reminds me, last night we were shooting, and we were in about hour 12. This was after everybody had, pied each other angrily, and the crew just started getting kind of contentious, and people were snipping at each other, and we got into ooh, that was tense. A lot of tense moments were cropping up. And the first AD all of a sudden was like, okay, everybody, 7th inning stretch. Everybody, I want you outside for 10 minutes. We're taking a break. It just never happened before. She literally put the entire crew in time out. When they were collecting overtime. Like, we were at over the 12-hour day at that point. She's like, everybody outside. I don't want anybody in here. Go get a fresh air. Out, you get out of here. I don't want to see your faces. It's kind of amazing.
Amazing.
Then we went outside and fought with each other.
In your prom dress.
So that's an interesting thing to be a part of. I actually think that our particular cast and crew and fandom has a somewhat unusual dynamic in terms of that social interaction. I think a lot of people who are on TV tend to be really, really walled off when it comes to fans or viewers, and we only have a partial wall, like Trump's wall. And if you work hard, you can go around it, Anyway,
I think we should adopt
I don't know, there are lots I could talk about this forever, but I won't. Because I don't really have anything profound to say. But thank you for broaching the topic.
Thank you.
What have you most importantly learned in your junior year about social interaction?
Don't take A-push. Do not take A-push, whatever you do.
What is that?
AP US history.
Oh, A-push?
Yeah.
A-push?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I won't.
But
Thanks for the tip.
But it is really interesting. I'm in a lot of different, theater, and like the orchestra kid, we talk about the orchestra drama, and then I talk about the theater drama, and it's weird. Sometimes I feel like I'm in a high school movie. Not just because I'm in high school. Okay.
Well, it feels like that could be related to why it feels like you're in high school. But it's so weird. I'm in high school, and it totally feels like I'm in a movie about high school. You know what? Here's the bad news. It doesn't actually get that much less like high school when you get older. There's still a lot of drama. I would say that people even who work hard on themselves in terms of social interaction and self-improvement still end up having a really hard time muddling through life and figuring out how to navigate social interactions. So the good news is all of the interesting stuff and any difficulties are perfectly normal. The bad news is it'll never go away. Hi.
Hello, Misha. Welcome, and thank you for sharing.
Can you speak up a little, please?
How do you manage the separation between the character Castiel and the person Misha?
It can be challenging sometimes, because there are places and times when, if I'm not in character as Castiel when we are rolling on camera, the scene is not going to work. And likewise, if I am in character as Castiel but I'm having sex with my wife, it just doesn't go well. It's okay, we don't need protection. So I try to be really judicious about when I'm in character and when I'm not. I forgot about those other two. And the worst part is I just found out about them 20 minutes ago, and already that's the kind of father I am.
Did we break you?
Why is she still standing there? But it's a funny thing because on set there's a certain decorum that we generally follow, which is when we're talking to each other as people, as castmates and coworkers, we generally address each other by our names, our human real life names. Like, for example, if you were working on Supernatural and I was working on Supernatural, you would call me Misha, and I would call you Monroe because I wouldn't remember your name. And Richard Spade says, hey, great, everybody great, keep rolling. Cass, when you walk in the room, I don't think he knows my name. So he has a hard time with the transitions, for sure. Okay.
Hi, Misha.
Hello.
I just want to ask, since this is supposed to be the last season for Supernatural, what are your plans at?
You don't trust us at all, do you? Everyone's like, you're just a bunch of liars. We're just watching it because we hate you. What are my plans? Well, I was going to take A-Bush, but that's out the window now. I have to say, I really don't know. I'm trying to. The heck? I thought we're in timeout. Yeah, evidently. Now you're in timeout again. Timeout.
It's been 10 minutes.
Literally like my children.
Kids parties.
That's a great idea. I can do kids parties. It really is. Is heckling in infectious. It's that whole section of the room. It's not just one person. They seated all of the bad kids together. Yeah, I'm trying to. I guess at the moment I'm trying not to. I'm trying not to sign on to anything because I'm really not sure what I want to do, and I feel like I need a big chunk of time in order to figure out what I want to do. And I don't want to make an impulsive decision because the last time I did that, I got stuck on a show for 12 years. I love the idea that I've been trying to get off the show. It's like, I started out, I was like, oh, I gotta get out of here, I'll just act badly. And that didn't work. I started showing up to work late, and that didn't work. So I started up drunk, and that didn't work.
You died a few times.
Right, that's true. You're in timeout. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to actually figure that out. I'm giving myself as much space and time as I can to figure that out. I've had some conversations about, with people at the studio network about, what do you want to do next? And I just say, I don't know, which is a great way to really torpedo your career. But I don't know.
Move to Australia.
Move to Australia.
Yeah. No, Canada.
Canada!
We have free healthcare.
They're really going to town over there, aren't they? I want to have, I don't even know if they've invented this yet, but I want a group muzzle. Thank you for asking.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. I wanted to know, what was your favorite betrayal moment on the show?
Betrayal?
Yes, betrayal.
What happened? Remind me, what happened on the show?
Lucifer!
Well, I think it's probably going to be Chuck. I think that will be the ultimate betrayal. Because although we didn't, I think we all thought that, or at least I did anyway, I thought God, yeah, maybe he's absentee, or maybe he hasn't been a great dad. He has, at least in my mind, been more or less good, and he is coming across as pretty terrible. And it's a pretty. You want to get that? I don't know. You can get it. Here, go ahead and take the call. It could be important. You're not even looking at it. What if it's your mother? She was like, oh, it might be the mom. So I think that's actually a pretty big betrayal. And by the way, I also think that we, as a show, are betraying the entire biblical lore by turning God evil. So, and probably alienating tens of millions of people. Thank you. I wouldn't be surprised if we all have to go into witness protection when this is done, just because there'll be mobs out after us. Thank you. I was really surprised that there's not a bigger vocal online resistance to Supernatural being like, so now God is evil and we're hunting God and trying to kill him. And oh yeah, we get it, that's fine. I love the show. Big priests are like, I love the show, love the show. Okay. Can you put that in writing for me? Hi.
Hi. So my favorite episode is the musical episode, but it makes me really sad because you're not in it.
But Castiel is portrayed.
Sure.
Okay. I'm just grasping at straws here.
I was wondering if how you think Cass would react to the musical if he was in the episode.
I'd like to think that he'd tap his foot and sing along. I really loved that when Castiel was rocking, that when he was a babysitter, the only song he knew was the theme song to The Greatest American Hero. Initially in the script, they had Castiel singing Highway to Hell. Which singing Highway to Hell a cappella is actually fairly challenging, but I finally felt like, all right, I got it down, and then they're like, yeah, we couldn't get the rights for that, but we could get the rights to The Greatest American Hero theme song, so that's what you're singing, which was just as good.
I've noticed that you're really very good at being in the moment, and I was wondering if you had any tips on practicing mindfulness and just being in the moment, enjoying the moment.
I wish I felt that what you're saying was true. Thank you for saying that. I think life is much better when you are in the moment, and I spend much of my time lamenting the fact that I'm not in the moment, or escaping the moment by going onto my phone and looking at news of Donald Trump. You should have asked this, because now I want to give an earnest answer and everyone's going to be annoyed. I was really not in the moment, like 16, 17 years ago, and really having an existential crisis, thinking I was going to quit acting, didn't know what to do with myself, felt like everything was meaningless, but also felt really distractible and really not present. And then I sort of happened into meditation. Somebody I knew had started meditating and really liked it, and I was like, oh, all right, maybe I'll try that. And I went online, and the first thing that popped up was this 10-day silent meditation retreat, and I was like, well, I don't have a job. So I went and did a 10-day silent meditation retreat, which was with this particular teacher, this particular school of it's mindfulness. You said mindfulness, so that's why I bring it up. Mindfulness meditation, which is basically like you just sit there for 13 hours a day on a mat, silently trying to pay attention to like sensations on your body or your breath or something really fucking boring. and when thoughts inevitably come into your mind, you just gently, let them go. When you notice, oh, I'm fantasizing about, role playing as Castiel, you just gently push that out of your head and go back to, focusing on your breath or your sensations on your body. And then I found it to be incredibly beneficial. And when I went back to regular life, I had a miserable experience, by the way. Those 10 days were awful. But then I went back to regular life and found, oh, wow, I'm a lot more in the moment now than I used to be. And so I've done like 15 of these 10-day silent meditation retreats. I've squandered probably 6 months of my life doing that. But I would say without it, I would be a total catastrophe. And now I'm just a partial catastrophe. I would recommend, mindfulness meditation. I do it pretty much every day for, at least 20 minutes and more when I have time. But it's very helpful.